On the matter of extra virgin olive oil, I promised you just a little bit more. So a sneak preview from my lab. I've long been interested in the frequent difference between what we call a food and the actual composition of the food. Now, I took care of patients for 25 years, first as a primary care internist, and secondly as director of an integrative medicine center I founded, working collaboratively with naturopathic physicians. So in my patient experience, I would occasionally get the patient who came in and said something like, "Doc, I just don't get it. You know, I'm eating salad now. And you know, my cholesterol's not that much better. My weight hasn't gone down. You know, my blood pressure's about the same. What's going on?" I said, "Well, Joe, tell me about this salad. Is there lettuce in it?" No, there's not much lettuce. Peppers, green, yellow, red pepper? No, I don't like peppers. Cucumber? No, I don't like cucumber at all. Tomatoes? No, I don't really much care for tomatoes. Cabbage of some kind? No, I'm not really big into cabbage. Joe, what is in your salad? Well, you know, Doc, it's a chef salad. I got pepperoni, and I got bologna, and I got ham, and I got croutons, and a blue cheese dressing. Now, Joe called that a salad, and I saw it many times. So you can call that whatever you want. It's not going to do your health or coronaries any good, right? So it's a smaller version of the same problem when we get into the realm of oils. We tend to lump them together. You absolutely can shop the literature and find, for example, a study that will show adverse effects, in particular on a measure called endothelial function, which is a measure of blood flow and really, I think, a premier marker of overall cardiovascular health. We did endothelial function research in my lab for the past 20 years, published many papers. So you can shop the literature and find a study that will show an adverse effect on endothelial function of olive oil. But that study won't tell you anything about the olive oil. For all we know, it sat out in the sun for 10 years and then got run over by a train. We just don't know. So that bothered me because it's like the salad. They're both called salad, they're very different. What is really going on with the good stuff? Extra virgin olive oil, rich in polyphenolics. So there's actually an extensive literature showing marked benefit in active enhancement of endothelial function with extra virgin olive oil, many other health benefits as well. We just did a trial in my lab, and so far as I know, it's the first sneak preview. It hasn't been published yet, it's under review. We directly compared in the same people high quality, polyphenolic rich, extra virgin olive oil to bad olive oil. And we saw marked enhancement of endothelial function with good olive oil and degradation of the exact same measure with bad olive oil. They're both called olive oil, they're two markedly different products. So again, a lot of what we want to talk about is in the realm of what we don't know yet. Now, we're able to differentiate extra virgin olive oil from bad olive oil. We could do the same with other predominantly polyunsaturated fat sources, but I don't want to belabor this. But here's the thing. Even after that study, do we know whether an optimal, low-fat, whole food, plant-exclusive diet would be better, worse, or move sideways if we were to make room in it for a little bit of extra virgin olive oil? We don't know. We don't have the comparison. The only way to answer that question is a direct head-to-head comparison, all the same outcomes over whatever time horizon we consider important. We don't know. Now, you might believe, you might hope, you might wish, you might have a preference. All I'm asking, having recently emerged from this smaller of the diet wars with some degree of battle fatigue, is that we all allow for the difference between what we know and what we prefer. Almost all of our conflict would go away if we were to say, well, we all know this, the weight of evidence, the confluence of science, sense, and global expert consensus, we know it like bedrock. But there is an overlay of my own work, my experience, and so I prefer this way. And if we expand the discussion beyond the realm of whole food plant exclusive to allow for those other variants, pescatarian, flexitarian, Mediterranean, then I think there is an additional layer to the argument. And that is, everything I've said so far is really just about measures of our own health. What about the planet? What about the climate? What about our fellow creatures? Without doubt, it's better for our fellow animals for us not to sequester them their entire lives to be slaughtered and eaten by us. That's an easy one. Now, there would be many fewer of them born in the first place, but still, I don't think we're doing them any favors to breed them, to incarcerate them, and then slaughter them and eat them. The ethical argument in favor of veganism, and we heard last night that the primary reason people choose to be plant exclusive isn't their own personal health, it's ethics. Honestly, I think that's right. Because if you're not motivated by ethics, it may be just as good to occasionally eat antelope. We don't know, right? Assuming you've got the bow and arrow and antelope in your backyard or somewhere, or wild salmon. So we don't know, but we do know that the way we treat animals is horrendous. Right? In factory farms, it's absolutely horrendous. It's unconscionable. And I honestly think the only reason anybody's willing to do it is they don't know. And the only reason they don't know is they don't want to know. And of course, we can all not know up to a point simply because nobody's told us yet. But you have to be pretty resistant to the news in 2020 not to know now. I credit my education on this topic to John Robbins, who shared his first book with me. And I was appalled. Now, I had already given up eating mammals long before because I grew up with dogs, and I'm an equestrian. Love horses. I have a horse. It never made much sense to me that some of these critters were family members, and I loved them, my best friends, and others a whole lot like them were dinner. I just couldn't deal with that. So I grew up being fed a typical American diet, but by the time I was in my early teens, I said, this just doesn't work for me. So I had those kinds of reasons, but I didn't know about what was going on with factory farming. I became much more adamant about the ethical crusade, thanks to John and many others who followed along.